Hello everyone, it's me Uncle John. Today I am going to read S6 6022 Lock in the Library. Chapter 6. Ah, Arthur screamed. He whirled around. Ah! Francine screamed back. She was standing right behind him. The two of them just stood there, shaking for a moment. Why did you scream? She cried. You screamed too. I said, Arthur, only because you screamed first. Arthur took a deep breath. Well, why shouldn't I scream? I'm alone in a dark library. I hear a crash. That wasn't a crash. I accidentally knocked some books off a desk. It barely made any noise at all. It sounded like a crash to me. Arthur insisted. Then I go to investigate, and this creepy hand grabs me on the shoulder. My hand isn't creepy, said Francine. It's a very nice hand. She looked at it and smiled. Then a smile turned to a frown. Anyway, what are you doing here? Arthur put his hands on his hips. I could ask you the same question, he said. Francine sighed. I was looking for Miss Turner. Then I heard the clock chiming. It's after 6, you know. I can't count. Francine, she was not impressed, so you say. But where were you an hour ago? Looking through some books? Well, why didn't you come find me? The library was closing. 5 o'clock, remember? You got us locked in. Arthur blushed. I did not. So then what happened? Well, actually, I fell asleep. Asleep? Francine laughed. You must feel pretty silly, Arthur made a face. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't, but at least I have an excuse. What about you, since you remember the time so well? Why didn't you come find me? Now it was Francine's turn to blush. Okay. I was listening to music while I looked through the book. I guess I didn't hear the clock either. Hey, so you weren't paying any more attention than I was. Never mind that. I don't have time to argue with you. I have to get out of here. Fine, said Arthur. Do you have a plan? A way to get out? Arthur frowned. As you said, we're locked in. I'm working on one, she sniffed, and when it's ready, I'll put it into operation. But I'm not going to share my ideas with you. Do you know why? Because I'm still not talking to you, and I'm not listening either. To make the point perfectly clear, Francine stuck her fingers in her ear and walked away. Chapter 7. Even though Arthur and Francine were now working together, they both had the same idea about what to do next. Maybe I can climb out a window, thought Arthur. I think I'll try the window, thought Francine. Arthur began piling up a rickety pile of books. When he was done, he began climbing up. The pile swayed back and forth. Arthur was about to grab the window handle when Francine came by. One of the books in Arthur's pile was exactly the size she needed to complete a nice neat pile of her own. She yanked out the book. Arthur's pile fell down. Arthur hit the floor with a loud thud. You should build things more carefully, said Francine. With the last book in play, Francine's pile was perfectly steady. She climbed up to the window, gave the latch a pull. It was stuck. She gave it a few tugs, but the latch didn't move. A fly buzzed in front of her face. Go away. She waved her hand wildly at the fly. Whoa, Francine landed with a crash. Arthur came running around the corner and almost tripped over Francine, who was lying on the floor. What happened? He asked. Francine picked herself up. Lost my balance, she said, forgetting that she wasn't talking to him. What about the window? Francine shook her head. Forget it. I don't think these windows have been opened in a long time. Uh-oh. What? Francine snapped. I just remembered something. Today is Saturday. That means the library is closed until Monday. Francine finished for him. She gulped. What's that noise? What noise? I hear growling. Arthur looked down. That's my stomach. It's thinking about getting enough food for the entire weekend. We have more than your stomach to worry about, said Francine. Our families will be worried sick. Arthur thought about how D.A. would take the news. He could picture her pulling down his poster, throwing out his toys, and painting the walls pink. Not everyone, he said. Wait a minute. I've got it. She ran to the card catalog and began flipping through the listing. Are you crazy? How is a book going to help us? Let's see. How to escape from prison. How to escape from a desert island. What? Set up. How to escape from a library, of course. Arthur was impressed. He hadn't realized that this sort of thing happened so often. Hey, wait for me, he said, following Francine into the stack. She found a place for the book. He made a hole like the gap in a smile after tooth has fallen out. I don't believe it. Who would need a book on escaping from a library unless they were already in a library? If someone was here with us, she looked around. I guess we would know about it. So now what? I wish I knew. Chapter 8. The library has seemed dark before. Now somehow it seemed even darker. The rooms had seemed silent before. Now they seemed almost frozen and quiet. A ring. What's that? Asked Francine. She looked at Arthur's phone. They sat together. They raced back to the main desk. The phone was still ringing. Francine grabbed the receiver. Hello, Miss Turner, said the voice on the line. This is Muffy Crossfire. I didn't get a chance to. Muffy, Francine Karin. It's me, Francine. Listen, I'm locked. Sorry, Francine. I must have dialed you by mistake. I meant to call the library. Oops. I can't talk now. I hear the bell for dinner. I'll talk to you later. Bye. She hung up. Muffy. Wait, Francine stared at the phone. What did you do? Arthur shouted. How could you hang up on her? I didn't hang up on her. She hung up on me. Anyway, I'm calling my mother, so relax. Dialed on the home number. She heard a beep and then a recording. We're sorry to dial out of the library. You must enter the correct user code, please. Hang up and try again. User code? Francine stared at the phone. But I don't know the user code. She tried again anyway. We're sorry to dial out of the library. You must enter. Francine slammed down the phone. User codes, password. What's this word coming to anyway? We're doomed, said Arthur. Oh, Arthur, just relax. You're such a wimp. Me? Well, you're a bossy, know-it-all, marshmallow. That does it, Arthur. If I have to spend the weekend here, I'm not spending it with you. She stormed out of the room. Fine with me, Arthur called after her. Looked around at the deepening gloom. See if I care, he added softly. Left to himself, Arthur looked around for something to do. He picked up a magazine, started flipping through it. There was a picture of a roast turkey on one page. Arthur's stomach grumbled. That sure looks good, he muttered. He ripped off part of the page and tried chewing it. Yuck, he said. Spitting it out, it didn't taste like turkey at all. Dump. What was that? Dump. Arthur frowned. Libraries were not supposed to make dumping noises. Francine, she didn't answer. Arthur went back to the magazine. He wondered if the mashed potatoes and gravy would taste any better than the turkey leg. Dump! Arthur put down the magazine. Francine, he called out. The name echoed through the hall. Where was she? Arthur started moving in the direction that Francine had gone. Francine, where are you? Dump! There he was again, and this time he also heard the girl screaming. Francine, don't worry, I'm coming. Arthur ran up the step to the next level. He threw open the first door he came to. It was a broom closet. Arthur kept going. He heard more screaming coming from another door down the hall. Arthur raced toward the door. He heard evil laughter coming from the other side. There was no time to wait. Francine was in trouble. He took a deep breath and burst in. Chapter 9. As he entered the room, Arthur tripped under the rug and fell to the floor. His glasses flew off and sailed across the room. They landed in the middle of a pizza box. Arthur squinted and looked around. Francine, are you okay? Francine was just sitting in a chair watching TV. Of course I'm okay. What wouldn't I be? Arthur scrambled across the floor and picked up his glasses. Then strands of cheese dangled from the lenses. Arthur wiped them off and put the glasses back on. I wasn't sure, he said. I heard thumping. Oh, the movie I'm watching has monsters with big feet. And screaming, naturally, it's a horror movie. And evil laughing? I know, the monsters have a strange sense of humor. So do you, said Arthur. When you didn't answer, I figured you were hurt or something. I was worried. I was coming to your rescue. He looked around. Where are we anyway? Francine shrugged. It's the staff room, I think. I had no idea librarians were so well fed. I found the pizza in the refrigerator and zapped it in the microwave. Francine, let me get this straight. We are locked in the library. It's getting dark. We don't know how long we're going to be stuck here, and you're sitting here eating pizza and watching TV? She nodded. I'll bet you had no idea I could be so resourceful. That was true, but Arthur wasn't about to admit it. Well, I only have one thing to say, and what's that? Were you planning to share? Francine considered it. Why should I share with someone who calls me a marshmallow? Look who's talking. You got a pretty short memory. Remember when I got glasses? You called me Four Eyes. Well, that's ancient history. She paused. Hey, did you say you were coming to my rescue? Sort of. You are, weren't you? Francine picked up another plate. That was very brave of you, Arthur. Joanna Bark would be pleased. She paused. Want some pizza? Sure. A little while later, Arthur and Francine sat back in the chair. Ooh, Arthur groaned. Double ooh, said Francine. Pizza was gone. Several empty packages of chips and cookies were scattered around. Arthur smiled. This is turning out better than I expected. No chores, no homework, no DW. He sat up in horror. Sister DW had suddenly appeared in the doorway. Hello, Arthur. She said, "You're in big trouble." Just then, Arthur's father and Francis' mother came around the corner. Miss Turner was with them. "Arthur, Francine," said Mr. Reed. "Thank goodness you're all right," said Mrs. Fransky. Miss Turner shook her head. "I don't know how this could have happened, but I'm glad to see both of you children. Are you all right?" asked Mr. Reed. "Are you hurt?" Mrs. Fransky. Diderot took a look around at the chips, cookies, and the empty pizza box. "Don't worry, I think they'll survive." Chapter 10. Monday morning at school, everyone was crowding around to hear the full story. "I've always thought," said Pinky, "that the characters in books come out to play after the library closes. I don't suppose you saw any." "Of course not," said Francine. "They are afraid of the ghost." "Ghost?" said Buster. He shivered a little. Francine nodded. "But they didn't bother us, except for that one with no head," said Arthur. "Right, Francine?" They winked at each other. As the bell rang, the kids headed for the classroom. "So, who did you do your report on?" Buster asked Arthur. Arthur stopped short. Francine would have bumped into him, but she had stopped short too. "Report?" Arthur and Francine exchanged a panicky look. In all the excitement, they had forgotten about Joanna Bark. The look was still on their faces as Murphy finished her report a little while later. The blackboard was lined with crosswire motor, charts, and graphs. And so she concluded it's no exaggeration to say that without Edward Crosswire, there'd have been no Elwood City as we know it. Very illuminating, Buffy, said Mr. Rappan. That brings us to. He looked down at his notes. Arthur and Francine, the two partners, shuffled up to the front of the room. They stood before the class and cleared their throats. We picked Joanna Bark for a report, but we really didn't get a chance to learn as much as we could because uh, we were too busy learning the true meaning of heroism. It isn't just the stuff you find in books, it's real life. Arthur stared at her. That's right. Francine went on. When we were locked in the library, it might have been really terrible. Actually, it was terrible at first because we were fighting and everything. Then Arthur came to rescue me because he thought I was in danger. Exactly. And Francine was really brave and resourceful too. She found out where the food was and saved me some pizza. Class cheered. "That's very good," said Mr. Rapper. "It looks like your adventure taught you something important." Arthur and Francine beamed at each other. "So I'll give you until tomorrow to do your sermon. After all we've been through," said Francine. "Oh, yes. You should give your report a special meaning." Later that day, Arthur and Buster were walking home from school. "I hate to say it," said Buster, "but Francine is not so bad." Arthur nodded. "She can be a lot of fun. She's a good friend." At that moment, Francine whizzed by on her bike. She rode right through a puddle, splattering the boys with muddy water. "Authority," she yelled over her shoulder. Arthur and Buster looked down at the wet shirts. Arthur sighed. "But nobody's perfect," he said. The end.